Hi, freaky friends. This is Margaret.
And this is Colleen.
And we're
the Cousins Weird. Almost didn't go in there.
And it's a terrible trend. Woohoo!
Woo.
I don't remember what number it is.
Oh, shoot. 52? 54? No.
Hold on just a second once my phone comes up.
50. It's 52 or 53.
Well, you put ambergris as 5.
Oh, I missed a number.
51. This is 52.
Okay, I was right the first time. Look at me. I can't type it, but I...
52. I had to be better about remembering that beforehand.
Yeah, that's all right. We're fine.
Okay. So in the 1860s, the French silk trade was threatened by an epidemic that was wiping out their silkworms.
Oh, no.
Right? And so what did they do? They call upon their buddy, Louis Pasteur.
Louis Pasteur.
Who is known as one of the greatest and most brilliant scientists of his time and our time. I mean, pasteurization, that's the guy we're talking about. He was innovative. He invented things. He was a brilliant scientist. So they help us. He's like, all right, sure.
Right.
So he needed to figure out this problem. So through his research, he discovered that the worms and the mulberry leaves that the worms used as food were infected with tiny parasites.
Ooh.
Yeah, so under his recommendation, all the worms in trees were destroyed and replaced by healthy worms in trees. But this took time. I mean, you have to grow trees.
Right.
You have to replenish your larvae stock.
Ooh.
Gross worm stock. And so during this culling, there was a shortage of French silk. And during this time, that's what everybody wanted to wear.
Right.
We're talking 1860s. This is
we
need
fancy,
silk for our fancy dresses. Right?
Fancy.
Right. So, at this time, Pasteur's assistant was a man named Count Hilaire de Chardonnay. He thought that by studying the way that silkworms spun their silk, that the process could be duplicated.
I don't think that's true.
I'm pretty sure it's not. But he was obsessed with this.
He's like, we're going to find it.
How to make silk. Of course, you have to secrete. It's a bug secretion. They make it.
I hate that word. Secrete. It's so disgusting.
It's a disgusting thing that silkworms do. So it should be disgusting. This process, he's like, I'm going to be able to duplicate this. I have to study it. So even though he was never able to duplicate silk.
Okay.
Big surprise.
Surprise.
He's trying to turn himself into a silkworm so he can
secrete it.
Silk. He did manage, accidentally, to invent the first commercial artificial or synthetic silk.
Okay.
Can you guess what it is?
Rayon.
Yes! Okay, Chardonnay was working with photographic plates, and back then, because when you would take a photograph, it would end up on a plate.
Yes.
Right? He accidentally spilled one of the chemicals used to coat the plates, and it was called collodion, and he spilled it, and he couldn't take care of it right away, because he's in the middle of making photographic plates, so he's like, time-sensitive thing, so he's like, I'll get that later. So it sat for a while. When he finally got around to cleaning it up, he noticed that as it dried, because it's kind of like a gel consistency, it formed long filaments that reminded him of silk. And I looked up what collodion was, and I didn't write it down because it confused the shit out of me. So if you're interested, go look it up. It's some kind of process where they take cotton fiber and they soak it in chemicals, and it basically dissolves the cotton. But I think what happens is when it starts to dry, it starts to reform.
Right.
The cellulose in the cotton is in there.
So it starts to form into filament.
Right. So he's like, this looks like silk. What can I do with it? So, being an independently wealthy person himself, he spent the next 6 years experimenting with the substance. He eventually used cellulose from mulberry leaves. Makes sense, or the trees, because he's trying to become a silkworm, and that's what silkworms eat. So he's like, well, it's got to be something in here, right? Use this substance from the cellulose from the mulberry to make a nitrocellulose solution, which he squeezed through a device that resembled a shower head, or more like a pasta maker kind of, to produce strands that could be spun into thread to make fabric. He called his invention Chardonnay silk, which he unveiled at the Paris exhibition in 1889.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Now called Rayon, they named it after the sun's rays because the sun gleamed off the surface of Rayon because it was so shiny.
Oh.
So it's a Rayon, the sun Rayon. You know?
Oh, boy.
It began commercial production in 1891. Like, after he unveiled it, he got all this money from backing, and so, like, he started commercially producing it. This fabric, although, was extremely flammable, and it was referred to as mother-in-law silk by the factory workers that made it because it was so combustible. So, yeah. Like, that's not a nice name.
No, that's funny.
So, viscose eventually evolved from rayon. Like, rayon is still made today, and it's made a little differently than it was then.
Right, obviously. Not through a shower head.
But one of the processes of making rayon is called viscose.
Okay.
viscose. And it's basically rayon, but they call it viscose. Right. Even though they are technically made from wood, cellulose structure has to be solubilized using chemicals such as carbon disulfide. Anybody who knows, carbon disulfide is extremely toxic.
Oh, great.
Yes. This can occur naturally. This substance, carbon disulfide, can occur naturally during volcanic eruptions, when people breathe in the gases and die.
Oh, yeah, that's not good for you.
Also, marshes also produce carbon disulfide. However, carbon dioxide is known to be both acute and chronic. It can cause acute and chronic poisoning.
Oh, yes. That's not good.
Yep. Causes neurological and psychiatric symptoms.
Oh, good.
Encephalopathia sulfocarbonica is what they call it. Like, it actually has its own name. Which cause acute psychosis, hallucinations and delirium, paranoia, loss of appetite, sexual disorders, irritability and anger, myopathy, neurological problems, vision problems, burning eyes, reactions to light and eye pressure. Like, your eye pressure increases. Heart problems, including...
Oh, no, there's a lawnmower going.
Angina, high blood pressure, heart disease, deaths, and stroke. Increased miscarriage, mutated sperm, and decreased immune response. These are just some of the things that can happen from short-term or long-term exposure to carbon disulfide. And this can happen, like, after you make they use it to dissolve the stuff.
Right.
So the rayon itself does not contain it. It's used in the process of making the viscose. So the people making it are exposed to the fumes.
Right.
And it could be on your clothes. And if you leave, people are in the surrounding area around these factories, they're making viscose. Or rubber. It's also used in making rubber.
Oh, no.
Can be affected because it's in the air, right? In the 1900s, factories that produced rayon, or also rubber, but we're talking about rayon here specifically, they would put bars on the windows to prevent the workers from jumping out of them during psychotic episodes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah, because they're suffering from psychosis. So their workers would jump out the window.
Because they're mad.
Because they've gone crazy.
Right.
From the fumes. So you know how to fix that? We'll just put bars on the windows and they can't jump out. How about you stop having people exposed to toxic chemicals?
That's horrifying.
Yeah. So, although there are other methods and chemicals that can be used in the viscose process of making rayon, they are more expensive, and there are still factories that use carbon disulfide now, and most of them are in China.
Oh my God.
And they claim that there's no harmful effects from their workers.
I don't believe that.
I don't either.
What, do they have them in hazmats?
Oh, no. I doubt it. These people making 3 cents a day.
I know.
They're just going to go home with crazy people.
Oh, my God. That's horrible.
Yeah, so that's a story of viscose and the invention of rayon.
See, the guy who did it, he didn't know that's what would happen. So you can't say it's his fault. And I think once you learn that's what does, then you need to figure something else out.
They did, though. They found other ways to make it.
But they can't make it as cheap.
Right. So, most of I think it's banned in the United States.
Right.
And in the United States, people that manufacture rayon use the other methods that are non-toxic. But, because a lot of people, like, when you find cloth made from bamboo, it's viscous, it's rayon, it's the same, like, people are like, oh, it's more green. Rayon itself is made from wood. Right. This is made from bamboo. Bamboo is more renewable, but the chemicals you have to add to it to make it into a fiber are not green.
Good for you.
Right. So, when you see, like, bamboo yarn.
Yeah, you always think it's supposed to be so much better.
It's not. It's really not.
Wow. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either. You get fooled by things.
See? They try to trick us into thinking we're being good, conscious consumers. And really, we're just making people jump out windows.
I would say stick to wool, but I have an allergy to wool, so the thought of wearing wool...
That makes me itch.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. Like, I get, like, leprosy.
I'm itching just talking about it.
Wool gives me something that looks like leprosy.
It does do that, too.
It's gross.
Well, you don't want to wear rayon.
We all wear rayon.
I know, it's in everything.
It is.
Rayon, that's probably what I'm wearing right now. It's probably a rayon shirt. Who knows what it is.
Probably cotton and viscous fibers.
Cotton and viscous fibers. Well, that was fascinating.
Or it's viscose.
Yeah. I never knew that about rayon. Mm-mm. I think the way he discovered it's kind of cool.
It is an accident.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
Well, that happens all the time.
And honestly, anybody else, like, I'm sure other people had noticed it did that, but
they wouldn't have thought the way he was obsessive
about silkworms is why he noticed it looking like silk.
Right.
And it's like, it just was like, all the elements came together.
And another mind wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, because I'm sure other people noticed that, because I'm not sure that's not the first time somebody spilled it. It had to dry and then had to clean it up.
His brain was like, focused, hyper-focused.
It's like, oh, however we make this chemical, we might be able to use it to make something else. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they changed the process of making it because the Chardonnet's silk was so flammable, people were catching on fire. So.
Yeah, we don't want that. You don't want people catching on fire or jumping out windows.
Like crinoline, bad. Chardonnette silk, also bad.
Mm-hmm.
But people were buying it because there was no actual silk.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Well, we're going to be at AnchorCon.
We are.
And we'll probably wearing rayon over there.
Or cotton shirt.
Or cotton shirt.
Cotton poly blend.
Cotton poly blend, baby. August 19th and 20th we'll be there. And we're going to be recording one of the days live. So make sure you're following us on Facebook or Instagram so you know which day to get your ticket for, so you can be there in the audience when we record an episode right there with you. And it's real audience participation.
We had so much fun last year.
We did.
I can't wait to repeat.
And I want to see people, and we want to meet you, and we're really excited about it. So
yes.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram because we're going to put pictures of our episode. We put pictures of our episodes on there. And I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just rambling and not making sense. Make sure you're following us on Facebook and Instagram because we're going to put the date that we're going to be recording, and also pictures from our episodes are on there. And when our episodes post, they get shared on there also.
They do. Yes, and if you'd like to reach out to us, you can send us a direct message via Facebook or Instagram, or you can send us an email to our email address, and it is thecousinsweird@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. Send us any kind of weird, bizarre, spooky, funny stories you might have, or any requests for topics you'd like us to cover.
Yeah.
Send it on
Have you ever been wearing a clothes that combusted on you?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Did you get carbon disulfide toxic poisoning and have psychotic episodes and try to jump out the window? Let us know.
Let us know.
Because that's terrible. And
that's horrifying, and I'm really sorry that happened to you. If you want to support our podcast, always telling your friends about it. Tell them about. Do you want to know about rayon? Listen to Terrible Trends number 52. Tell your friends. But you also can support us at patreon.com/thecousinsweird. For $1 a month, become a freaky friend, and you get a sticker and bonus content. For $5 a month, become a Terrible Trender. You get a sticker, bonus content, ad-free episodes, and quarterly Skype chat with us.
Yay!
So there you go.
Stay freaky.
Bye.
Bye.